Alrighty, chat. Alrighty. Let's talk about it. Well, we're still talking about it anyways, I should say. But our good old Baldy over here, our Lord and Savior Ashmangold, has another video for us for the I've been following it, okay? I have been following the whole LA shit that's been going on over there. Man, I gotta be honest with you, it's gone crazy over there. It's gone crazy. These people are, you know, honestly, this shit is wild. Here, let's see.
Police department is on tactical alert.
Oh, here we go.
All right, Christina, thank you. We now take you to a live press conference with...
This is the first time, actually, this is the first time I'm going to make a reaction to Asmongold's reaction to the fucking LA thing, you know? This is the first time. This is actually going to be the first time ever. And I do like Asmongold. Now, do I agree with everything with Asmongold? Of course not.
The LAPD chief, Jim McDonald.
But this here, honestly, is crazy to see this.
Any unrest or unlawful activity. Yeah. Let me explain for the public what all these mean. These means in practical terms. When we declare a tactical alert, we're activating a department-wide operational posture that enables us to reallocate officers rapidly, hold over shifts as needed.
Are those the Marine? No, those aren't. Oh, there's the sheriff.
Officers assigned to the field remain in their areas unless they're reassigned. Activities are narrowed to police work of significance or major importance, and officers who are able to return to the field in their areas of assignment.
Dude, this is crazy what's happening over there.
Command staff, including my office, the office.
Man, I knew America was crazy, man. I just knew it, man. Ever since I got exposed to like what America truly is in its deep inner core, I knew for a fact I was gonna go for a wild ride, you know?
Where are you going with the fucking cone?
In order to ensure seamless communication and
That's not your cone?
In response to current events, we've also implemented
what the fuck?
A partial mobilization of the department, which means we've extended watch hours, deferred days off for some personnel, and alerted off-duty officers to be ready for deployment. Our ability to scale up quickly is essential during this kind of fluid and unpredictable situation. We're deeply appreciative of the assistance we've received through the California Mutual Aid System, with officers and deputies from across Southern California already on the ground in Los Angeles supporting our efforts.
Well, that's good.
We're also aware of reports that the president intends or has deployed U.S. Marines to Los Angeles. The introduction of federal military personnel without direct coordination creates logistical challenges and risks confusion during critical incidents. Los Angeles Police Department, alongside our mutual aid partners, have decades of experience managing large-scale public demonstrations, and we remain confident in our ability to be able to do so professionally and effectively. We urge full transparency and communication across all levels of government. Our priority is simple: keep both the public and law enforcement officers safe and to maintain order. To the public, we fully support your right to peacefully protest, but let me be absolutely clear. Those who choose to incite violence, engage in vandalism or graffiti, or attack officers will be arrested. There is no tolerance for criminal activity under the guise of protest. And many ask, you know, not a lot of people, relatively speaking, have been arrested during this incident.
That's true,
well, I would say that I wouldn't argue with you on that, but many more will be arrested as the investigation continues.
Guys.
There will be many more subsequent...
I want to see the numbers of how many you arrest. It's got to be at least more than 300 people. I want to see in the triple digits. That's what I want to see.
Arrests. Finally, I want to offer my deep gratitude to the men and women of the LAPD and all of our partner agencies who are out there standing side by side. They're working long hours under intense pressure, and what I've seen as professionalism, courage, and commitment to this city has never been more evident than in the past couple of days. Thank you all very much.
Buenas tardes y gracias al alcalde Bass de la ciudad de Los Ángeles.
All right, so there you have
Desde esta tarde el
the
departamento
mayor
de Los Ángeles.
standing by as the police chief just spoke. They're talking about that tactical alert, which we told you about earlier, which means
Isn't the
LAPD
mayor supposed to
officers are
say
being
something?
carried
I mean,
over
I would
on their
assume that
shifts
she
to
is.
work. What you're
Force them
seeing
to
right
watch Co's stream. You know what? That would be pretty. That would go pretty ham, actually. To be honest, I'd probably skyrocket into existence. You know.
in downtown LA. He also talked about the Marines being sent to Southern California.
How about
and
that?
the lack of coordination with that. And what really stands out to me, Alex, too, we talked about the LAPD has decades of experience in dealing with situations like this. Now, some around the nation or President Trump may say, well, we've seen what happens in LA when there is unrest.
Yeah,
right. They so definitely got this under control. 1000%. Uh-huh.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Right? I mean, that's the thing. And that's Bass's point that she's been making. Okay, the way that you can make the point to the president that you don't need the Marines and don't need the National Guard.
Stop burning shit
is
down.
Not have a bunch of people out there throwing rocks and glass and
it doesn't make you look very good.
Shields and putting face masks and all the rest of it. You know, because this situation in this particular area, right?
Salvadorian flag, and there's a Mexican flag right there. There's an American flag over there. So. Yeah, I know a lot of the flags that are getting like, you know, waved around in this area, except for one. I didn't even know that flag even existed.
Now is not entirely under control.
But we know there's an element of that who don't care. They don't care.
Right. They don't care, and so then the question is,
arrest them.
When he said people are going to be arrested eventually, but
eventually,
should some of those people be arrested now?
Yes, I think that his point is
fucking obviously.
Members of the LAPD know the streets of LA.
Right.
They know the communities. They've covered riots. I mean, I've covered 2 riots myself in my decades being here in Los Angeles. So they do maybe the best that they can with the knowledge of knowing the city compared to Marines who
have never been here.
They may be from Kentucky.
Never been here before and have no experience doing this sort of thing.
Well, they should have controlled the situation better.
To be a Marine is to do that kind of work either, and we've never seen something like that. But it is. My point is that
if you let people sign up to be deputized to deal with this, that website would crash because there would be so many people signing up.
True.
Like you would have over 1 million signups in like an hour.
Right, and some of them say, thank you, President Trump, for restoring law and order when LA's, you know, they would say Democratic politicians are not able to.
Why is there a rainbow flag in this protest? That makes no sense. That literally makes no sense. You're in the wrong protest.
They see a lawlessness that they feel is allowed to perhaps just go.
Oh, it is allowed.
And fester.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's
Base
and
reporter.
this isn't the first day. This is the 4th day of this sort of situation. But you see, this is the National Guard that was called in, and many of them sort of. We have not seen damage to the federal building, but they're not actively engaging with the folks there either.
There's quite a presence there at the front of the federal building. You have the National Guard.
Because the alien are also gay, I guess
and they've been out there all day with that presence that was quite significant, with a lot of LAPD to the backside of that. Now they've moved in and cleared the crowd down away from the front of it. So it was an intimidating presence, you have to admit, in front of the federal building.
Yeah, that's
right.
You don't see anybody.
You know what would be funny? I think the people who are white or so in this protest are probably protesting against like the illegal immigrants to get sent back because they know for a fact that they won't be able to pay an illegal immigrant to cut their lawn. So that's why they're protesting against this. And then they know that they have to do the job instead of an illegal immigrant, you know? See, it's just, you know, there's like multiple steps to this, you know? There's just like multiple of this.
Getting in there. that's not supposed to.
See,
and
that's
so
what
they
I
have
said
protected
earlier.
That. The question is, will that
You
stop
want to solve
everything
this
else?
problem?
Let's listen back to the chief.
You get a lot of people over there doing that. It's solved.
Joined by Commander Ryan Whiteman,
Stops happening
who usually
instantly.
works Operations South Bureau, but during this this
No,
incident
it's
is
Men's
the Day
Health
Watch
Awareness
Incident
Month.
Commander. So I'll take any questions you have. If they're detailed
Okay,
questions,
let's get it.
Commander Whiteman would probably be better able to answer those.
More to the question.
How does the mobilization that might be coming affect what you guys are trying to do on the ground, and what is your biggest concern with that?
Yeah, the mobilization is what we do internally to be able to get more officers out there. We had declared that earlier, and now we'll have the ability to have roughly 400 additional officers deployed to the field.
Are you concerned with the federal mobilization? I mean, the National Guard and the Marines possibly coming this way?
Yeah, when I look at this, and my assessment may not be accurate based on this thing's continuously churning, but I see two parallel tracks that don't work together, if you will. We're
that?
dealing with the issues on the street that you see every day. We deal with that with LAPD resources. When we need additional resources, then we reach out to the sheriff, who brings in mutual aid. We have 14 different agencies working with us for that purpose. And then only if we weren't able to continue to deal with that, needed additional help, would we reach out to the sheriff, who would then request National Guard from the governor. So that's one line. The other part then is the National Guard were federalized by the president to support federal agents who are working on behalf of ICE to do their operation. The Marines were brought in then today, evidently, to join the Army National Guard in doing what their main mission has been identified as, which is the protection of federal employees and federal property.
Do you feel that incites, though? Do you feel that makes it any different on the street?
You know,
Yeah, he said they were overrun yesterday. He did.
It's a very emotional topic, absolutely. You know, could
Jesus.
I quantify what that is? I think it has certainly heightened everybody's level of awareness and certainly anxiety.
She's shaking her
but
head.
to be able to quantify that, I wouldn't.
Maybe not a big fan, right?
We'll take two more questions, and then the chief has to step out, but he'll come back.
I'll be back.
How are you avoiding less lethal weapons being used on people who are merely there in the way, potentially? Because
Well, get out of the way.
Everyone that's being hit and being attacked, including press. I don't know, like it doesn't really make any sense that people are just being shot at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you
Sure.
explain how you
Doesn't make any
minimize it,
sense
or
why
at
they're
least
throwing
not
bricks
think
either.
Yeah, we minimize it through training, through the equipment we use. It is a target-specific
Jesus
munition.
Christ.
That's not to say that it always hits the intended target, particularly in a dynamic situation. I know that the situation you're referring to with the member of the media, we saw that. We're very concerned about that. And we're
Yeah, the
looking
person
into
who
that.
did that should get fired.
trampling the horse, the person
Yeah,
on the horse.
we're also aware of that, and we're looking at that as well.
Chief, go ahead. Just go ahead.
Stop throwing bricks? Yeah.
He's gonna come back, guys.
You know, all of the streets surrounding the federal building complex, Los Angeles, Temple, Aliso, Alameda, they've all been cleared. You pushed the crowd away from
Right.
it. I know you can't talk about all of your tactics, but in terms of the benchmarks that you want to hit tonight, are you moving people away from the freeway as well by clearing out those streets?
That's pretty obvious what he's trying to do.
Yeah, we're trying to move them away from wherever the threat is. So if there are people assaulting officers, which is often the reason they're taking rocks or bottles or pieces of concrete, then they will attempt to
just gotta
disperse that
arrest them.
crowd so that they're not enabled to continue to do that, and move them out. If they can target individuals who've been the ones who are the aggressors, who are throwing the rocks, and they can safely go in and arrest those individuals, they will. Some of those will
That's
be
what they need
arrested
to do.
later. And after having been identified. And so this thing is moving forward in a way that some get frustrated with and watch. But we're out there, and we have an approach to this where we're not going to move a crowd into an area where it's going to cause additional problems, into the Civic Center or into the freeway. We're going to move them away where we think they can do the least damage, and we're going to try then and employ tactics that would minimize that even further.
Yeah.
How many businesses have been damaged and looted? I know there.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Weather Station had put out that there was some looting going on at 6th and Broadway. And as the National Guard, have they actually engaged with these protesters? Some media outlets were reporting that they were actually sending out tear gas. And I know on our channel, we did not see that.
No, not that I'm aware of at all. That I'm aware of, there were at least 3 businesses that were broken into and property taken from them. along Broadway and maybe other places. As far as the National Guard deploying anything other than around the federal building, I'm not aware of anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know about that at all.
Headquarters damaged, correct?
Yeah, damaged, yeah. The whole Civic Center, there was significant damage as it relates particularly to graffiti, broken windows, that kind of thing.
Yeah, shit got fucked
Shit.
up.
Can you talk about a possible curfew?
Jesus.
There's been some mention about if things had continued.
They should do that.
Curfew.
Yeah, I know, we're always thinking about that. That's always a tool we can employ. We certainly hold that off and not wanting to do that. And this is a pretty isolated area where this is happening relative to the size of the city. So we would, if we were to use that, it would be done very judiciously.
All right, Chief, thanks.
All right, we'll be back. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Is she gonna say anything? Oh, here we go. All right, she can explain it.
Yes.
Everyone.
Hello.
As I'm sure you are aware, there
I
was
can't wait to hear this. I'm super excited to hear this. At the end of the day, you know, if this was, I've said it before and I'll say it a million times, if this was in the void, she would have been removed from power immediately. Actually, both people who are the governor and the whatever, the guy and this girl would already be immediately removed from power.
was a large protest this afternoon. Protests, and then also David Huerta, our esteemed labor leader in charge of SEIU, USWW, was released from custody this afternoon. So there was a rally around City Hall that ended up at the federal building. It was peaceful. It's my understanding that there's
Yeah,
a
they
few
do.
hundred,
They definitely need to.
individuals that are at the federal building.
They're not doing their jobs at the end of the day, so why even still be in power, you know?
Now, but that there's no reports of violence that have taken place today or of vandalism. Of course, with the crowd just there, we will worry as it gets dark.
I mean, it wasn't that
as
bad.
to whether or not there are problems, but we certainly hope that there will not be. I just want to say I started off my morning with a meeting with a number of the leaders from the immigrant rights organizations. And as far as we know, right now, there have been 5 raids by ICE throughout the region. I don't know. I know of at least 1 or 2 that took place in the city.
That's
but we're still compiling that information. As you know,
Holy
ICE does not tell anybody where they're going to go or when they're going to be there. But I think the thing that was most important...
I feel like you could make a Call of Duty game or so of like you being an ICE soldier and like doing like tactical undercover ops or so on grabbing these grabbing some of these illegal immigrants who are like drug dealers, human traffickers, child molesters, and all this other shit, you know? You could 1000% make a Call of Duty game out of that.
Important about the meeting today was
Activists, get onto it. It'll make money.
For example, there was a woman, a mother from Guatemala, who was looking for her husband.
Yeah.
She wasn't able to hear about her husband and son that were detained at the Ambiance warehouse.
Well, why'd they get
She's not
detained?
been able to locate him or to communicate with him. And for the most part, the people that have been detained have been denied access to legal representation. This is unprecedented.
I wonder why.
In the past, when there were raids, lawyers were able to go in and
What's the
meet with
reason?
their clients. So she's running
I wonder how
around
much the
area
riots have to do with
I
that.
love how she's trying to, like, I have to agree with Asmongold, is like she's using emotional manipulation or so. There's like, this wife here has not contacted her husband and her son this afternoon or so, you know? They were being detained. How sad this is. Feel sorry, you know? Feel sorry that this is happening. ICE is really bad. They're bad people, you know? It's like, that's very interesting, Grandma. Do you have anything? Do you know the reason why they're detained? What's the actual facts, you know?
To find her husband, not knowing if he's here, has he been taken to another city, has he been deported out of the country?
Yeah, what about all the
There was another
riots?
statement regarding a daughter who was searching for her detained father, and at a certain point, she actually saw him moving into a detention facility, but since then, as far as she knows, he has disappeared. She is not able to find out where he is. I can't emphasize enough the level of fear and terror that is in Angelenos right now, not knowing if tomorrow or tonight it might be where they live, it might be their workplace. Should you send your kids to school? Should you go to work? And you remember this from several years ago.
Yeah, they're just going to arrest your kids, for sure.
That was going around. But
fuck around and find
so much emotional manipulation I'm hearing from this woman. That's probably the reason why I'm like tuning out from her, because I'm just like, I don't care. Like I don't care.
Today,
yeah, that's the
about
point.
Something that is so over the top.
Okay.
Can you imagine having your annual appointment to ICE, your annual appointment? You're here, you might not be a citizen, but you have papers, and you are told that you need to go to the facility to check in. And then you are detained, and you go with your family and your kids, and the whole family is detained when you were legal and you were trying to maintain your legal status. So what this means then is that people are going to be afraid to maintain their appointments, which then pushes them into the closet,
because everybody was maintaining their appointments before this,
and then subject to arrest.
Yeah, they were all maintaining them beforehand.
This is the kind of thing that is happening in our city right now, and I will just take you back to last Thursday. Last Thursday, there was nothing happening in this town that called for the raids that took place on Friday.
What?
Nothing was happening. Nothing warranted the raids. If you remember at the
what about the
beginning
fact
of this
that they're here illegally?
We were told that raids would be to look for violent
She's outright
criminals,
lying? She is.
people who had warrants, but I don't know how you go from a drug dealer to a Home Depot, to people's workplaces where they're just trying to make a living.
It shouldn't matter.
At Home Depot, you have...
Maybe because there's probably a drug bust that's happening at Home Depot. You don't know. You don't know that. You would know, but you're not intelligent at the end of the day, so...
day laborer centers, so that the people that are trying to seek work each and every day will have a place to be, so that it doesn't interfere with the business. These are not the people that we were told were going to be detained, and it makes me feel like
it was.
Moves in
Wait,
and takes
it
the
absolutely
authority
was.
away from the state or away from local government. I don't
Trump said
think
this the whole time.
that our city should be used for an experiment to see what happens in the nation's second largest city. Well, maybe we can do this to other cities. And then I read a description of our city that was so troubling to me. A description of our city that says that we have been invaded and occupied by illegal aliens and criminals, and that now violent insurrectionist mobs are swarming and attacking our federal agents. I don't know if anybody has seen that happen.
Oh man, dude, man, that's fun. That's funny to hear that shit. Oh my fucking god, dude.
But I've not seen that happen, and obviously there's been violence, and the violence is unacceptable, and we can talk about that in a minute. But to describe our city
I thought
as
I did.
a migrant invasion, and that we need to put an
I
end to
definitely
the
did.
migrant...
This lady's crazy, man. She's using some hella straight up propaganda shit, you know? She's trying to keep her job real hard or so, you know, without getting impeached, isn't she, huh? Man, she's using some hardcore tactical fucking propaganda there, saying, oh, no, nothing bad's happening, you know, everything is fine, you know?
Riots. And to call on various secretaries of the administration to go after our city because we want order to be restored, the illegals will be expelled, and Los Angeles will be set free. How is this a description? This is a despicable description of our city.
Sounds about
right. Our city needs to come together now and not accept this, not allow us to be divided.
That's about right.
We are a city of immigrants.
I am hoping, because I have friends in Los Angeles, I am really hoping they don't think like this, because if they do, I'm gonna have to object on it 1000%, you know, because I don't approve what this whole entire shit that's happening, or so the violence that these people are causing, you know, to police officers and everything like that.
And we have always embraced that. And if you want to hit our economy You hit our economy, you scare people from going to work because you know there are sectors of our economy in this city where immigrant labor is the majority of the workforce. So this is damaging.
Time to fix that.
Hearing there from Mayor Karen Bass and the chief of police of the
That's probably the reason why a lot of young people can't even get jobs here, so because all the immigrants are taking it. That could probably be the reason.
Hey,
Sloppy.
to watch protests in downtown LA.
With that, we're going to say goodbye to our viewers on Channel 13. Our coverage continues.
Oh my God.
A single mother.
So she's just crashing out about this. It's funny seeing her defend this. I know, it's hilarious, isn't it? It's not happening, but when you find out it is, it's actually a good thing that all of our farmers are underpaid illegals. Well, the slavery part 2, right?
God Lord, dude.
Department.
It's not even done though. We're not even done, chat. We're not even done. Where is the channel? Where is our good boy Decoy? There it is. Decoy Voice, bro. This is what we need to listen to right now.
What you saw in Los Angeles yesterday wasn't rioting and destruction, so stop trusting your eyes and just listen to the experts. As CNN shows you vehicles burning.
Peaceful protests, people that are there to protest.
MSNBC watches them skirmish with the feds.
These are peaceful people that want to get their message across.
They are not peaceful people. Stop saying peaceful people. Stop it.
Signs, they're out with families in some places.
And even controlled opposition, Fox News says,
There were no problems. At one point, somebody...
Dude, this is straight up propaganda, bro. If this is not propaganda, bro, like they're literally just being deceptive and lying to the actual to the American people, or to the Californian people, anyways. This is literally just straight up like actually like straight up lying to the actual citizens of California, dude. That's wild to hear this. They are very peaceful though, Code. No, they're not.
Did throw a Molotov cocktail.
As the mostly
it is hurting the cause.
Peaceful people.
The only reason why it's hurting the cause even far more is because it's going to stigmatize them and actually hate Mexicans or just Hispanic people in general. It's literally just going to hate Hispanic people overall.
That caused no problems other than throwing a Molotov.
All these guys are retards.
Is the official narrative that they want to run, or to avoid President Trump's National Guard coming in and finally exposing who is actually organizing and funding these protests in Los Angeles. As this story is going to vindicate a lot of tinfoil hat theories. As sure, there were a few peaceful protesters. I can count about 5 right here. But into the evening, the rioters at best set buildings on fire, then broke apart their own sidewalks to make concrete projectiles.
This is so stupid of these people to do this, to be honest. That's tax dollars right there. That's literally California tax dollars going right there, to be honest.
And as Fox News pointed out, they made improvised incendiary devices that masked men in hoods threw at the local coppers, as they were pretty much defenseless, even getting their windows smashed in. So many peaceful people protesting peacefully, causing no problems, it's incredibly confusing why President Trump would need to deploy the National Guard. As why would they need to protect the feds getting attacked in the ICE building from these peaceful people? But it was satisfying to see them finally open up and start blasting.
Oh, they're coming out, they're coming out. Watch out!
As most of them had their hands up, but some were still throwing projectiles back.
What a fucking idiot, to be honest.
These idiots actually see themselves as revolutionary freedom fighters, but they're really just live-action role-playing, as the police are basically operating as a daycare for the EBT
now?
tribes.
Yeah, it's a big
because they
paintball game
pretend
that's
they want
happening
to
over
fight,
there.
and nobody wants this, including me. But if LAPD actually wanted to win, this riot would end before the first Live magazine was emptied, as they're having fun waving all the flags of all the countries they demand.
It's so stupid. You know what? Asmongold is right. Asmongold is correct. If you see different flags in a strike or a riot, it's America. But if it's any other place that has the flag of their country, it's from that country. But here, no, it's complete. You can tell it's America.
Man, they not live in. with the most harmless individuals showing up with their selfie stick to antagonize the feds.
The governor did not make you come here. Stop helping fascists.
Yeah, this is a Karen. This is a Karen right here. When I saw the other flags, I was like, "Fuck off." Yeah, especially well, hold on. Let me see. Can we find it real quick? Especially this one right here. This specific flag right here. I didn't know anything about this flag until I searched up what this flag is. I'm like, this flag is a thing? I didn't even knew about that, to be honest.
Walk off the job now. What the f are you doing?
And people that look like this demanding a fight.
We will fight and fight and fight and get tear gas, and we'll still come out here today.
With dudes in bedazzled hoodies that read FTP firing off fireworks at the police. And well into the next day, these cosplay revolutionaries are throwing rocks at the cops. But these types are only emboldened to do so when they know to a certainty the police are only using paintballs.
Yeah, but paintballs fucking hurt. If you get hit in the face with that shit, oh my goodness gracious me, dude. That is not a pleasant time.
So at what point in time does this go from idiots organizing online to destroy their own city because they know their local police aren't treating them like a foreign military, and this actually being foreign actors attacking US cities, as they were actually locking down blocks with chicken wire, moving behind burning refrigerators to make makeshift barricades, launching attacks at police and defilade, and even utilizing their combat dinner plates to shatter on their MRAPs. But then,
man's playing frisbee with the fucking police, man. Oh my god, dude.
Shining lasers into the eyes of helicopter pilots.
You see the airship fly right through our picture there. If that laser is pointed up at the aircraft, it can blind the pilot.
So at this point in time, the gloves should come off, as they ceased being peaceful people.
Bro, just arrest these people. I don't know what the fuck is going on over there. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. They should just arrest people, man. I just don't understand, man.
Long time ago. And it's truly sad that we're under attack in our own country, but the majority of people wouldn't know about any of this if it wasn't for some weird YouTube channel called Decoy Voice, as the corporate mainstream media is straight up ignoring all these fiery but mostly peaceful protests, and like clockwork, the looting has begun.
Damn, that's crazy.
As this small business owner's store has been destroyed. Interesting how the Democrats will bend over backwards for foreign gang members.
Who's gonna pay for that too as well? I doubt the Democrats are gonna be paying for that, you know?
And traffickers, but for foreign business owners, crickets. Now I know you're sitting at home concerned. If they're looting the local liquor stores or the library,
I ain't concerned whatsoever. I'm doing fine. I'm just chilling all the way over here. I ain't got nothing to worry about.
Be safe. But apparently the BLM riots taught us why they don't touch bookstores.
Why do you think bookstores were never looted and robbed during BLM riots?
Because black people, we enjoy education.
Oh, they weren't.
They weren't. That's the point. Why would we loot bookstores?
Why would you loot designer stores?
Who would have known only stealing TVs and sneakers was such a noble cause, as scumbags will always see unrest in the streets and use it as an opportunity to make money for themselves.
Such a dumb logic. Man, dude, America never ceases to amaze me sometimes. I just sit back and just like, you know, just kind of enjoy the shit show in America, you know? I just really do. It's funny. It's just so funny.
But with this particular protest, anybody might be able to cash in 5 figures. As remember yesterday, that idiot throwing rocks at cop cars. where the FBI's deputy director singled him out, specifically looking for him. So it wasn't long before additional footage of that individual was found. And now, the feds are offering a $50,000 reward for finding him.
Hey, yo, looking for $50,000 for him? I can track him down pretty fucking easily. Shit, for 50 grand? Yeah, you know what? I would totally go down there and get his ass. I'd probably find a way or so to separate him from the group or so, you know?
Providing several other images from various parts of the protest, as a stranger wouldn't necessarily be able to identify him, but maybe a workplace enemy.
Yeah, the Golden Goblin is alive over there, chat. We got another Golden Goblin in LA.
A spurned ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, or basically anybody that knows him in real life is going to be able to identify him, especially when you can earn $50K or the equivalency of $166,006.
Thank you for the follow. Welcome. But do they need him? Do they need him alive? Yeah, they need him alive.
166 chicken McNuggets. I may not be a math Asian, but I'm basically Rain Man when it comes to eating fat. But we may be too late, as internet genius Tony Saruga is on the case, finding additional footage of him, identifying 5 of these attackers' mobile devices, and providing them to the authorities. But also, discovering the guy waving the Mexican flag is actually likely from Venezuela, where he's been at Antifa, BLM, Palpatine, and 3 Kamala Harris rallies, residing nightly at a $2 million home, and could possibly be getting funding from various NGOs that receive money from USAID, which coincides with another internet genius and data Republican finding similar things about the protests, where she says the signs may actually point us to who is organizing these protests. But we don't need any of that, as LA City Council members just openly admitted now.
They know how quickly we mobilize. That's why they're changing tactics.
Wait, this is a person, this is a councilwoman? Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Yeah, I'm just surprised these people are still in power, you know. I'm surprised, you know. I'm surprised.
Because community defense works and our resistance has slowed them down before, and if they're escalating their tactics, then so are we.
So even with mountains of evidence and some self-incrimination, you can never be too certain. But what we do know for sure is as the riots are occurring, the left-wing media is pretending they aren't, and the Democrat politicians are desperate to keep the feds away. As Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass went on TV to say the feds are causing the chaos.
As ICE initiated enforcement actions on several workplaces, and that created a sense of chaos and outrage and fear and terror because people are very worried.
With her LAPD releasing a statement saying, "The demonstrations across Los Angeles remain peaceful. We appreciate the cooperation of the organizers and participants to ensure public safety." These are all bold-faced lies.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure, man. Sure, peaceful. I love how they're literally using the word or so that they don't understand whatsoever. It's weird. It's weird, man. Americans use words that literally they don't know the meaning of. I swear, it's been like almost every single time, like bigotry, you know, grifter, Nazi, what other words do they use? I forgot what they're, misogynist. Now peaceful is another one. They don't even know what the actual definition of peaceful is. Man, that's crazy. I may not be, you know, English may not be my first language, but I know what peaceful is, and that ain't peaceful. That's not peaceful.
Top to bottom, but why would they openly destroy all of their own credibility unless it was to protect something much more nefarious? As even Democrat senators from other states are perpetuating these lies.
We see peaceful protests launching in Los Angeles.
Bro, what is up with the Democratic Party, bro? Nah, dude. Nah, man. Nah, man. I wish people from the Void or so can see this, because I think this is pretty funny.
Angeles.
With Democrat congresswomen, also from other states, coming in to say the same.
There's no danger. There's no violence. The president of the...
Okay. Okay, Grandma. All right, Grandma. It's time for you to go to bed, Grandma. You need to take your medicine or so. Oh, my Lord.
The United States hates Los Angeles because we're a sanctuary.
This is the reason why the younger generation hate boomers. This is the reason why the younger generation hates boomers.
A good thing the National Guard showed up anyways. And when Congresswoman Waters attempted to barge in, they slammed the door in her face.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public appearance.
I need to get in.
Good. Good for her.
I love how all these Democrats call Trump a dictator. The man that even won the popular vote against the Democrats with only a 20% approval rating. And then they had the audacity to think their wishes supersede the desires of the American people, as we all want to restore order in our cities. And if it takes deploying the military, then that's what it takes. As they began airdropping in supplies, finally pushing back on the mobs.
Move back! Move back! Move back!
And I don't want to alarm you, but the rioters, likely funded by Act Blue, have activated Blue Godzilla.
What the fuck? Tibu looking as fucking Godzilla over here in LA.
And all jokes aside, as of recording this video, the rioters have blocked the 101 freeway, stopping midday traffic in both directions. So make sure you're subscribed, as it's only going to get spicier from here. Don't doom.
God, dude, there's still gonna be more, dude. It's been like, what, day 4 or so about this? Man, dude. Holy cow. Man, dude, things are going crazy over there. I swear, man, things are going crazy. Anyways, yeah. I don't approve what's happening over there in LA whatsoever. Send Blue Godzilla back to Japan. Yo, man, Godzilla's up in LA at the moment, you know? Anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff. Yeah, no, I don't approve of this whatsoever. This is just gonna hate Hispanics in general. Like, just, they're gonna start hating Mexicans, they're gonna start hating Salvadorians, Colombians, Peruvians, fucking Argentinians, fucking everybody. Straight up, they're gonna start, like, the American people are actually gonna start hating them. This actually is gonna cause more racism. It's funny how, like, you guys are saying, we need to stop racism. But it's funny how you guys are causing racism. You guys are your own enemies for this shit, you know? It's wild, to be honest. I don't know, man. For me personally, I just find it hilarious. As someone from the Void or so, all we do, me, Mama Azathoth, and my sis and my older brother, we're kind of looking at this and we're just kind of like laughing our asses off at you guys, like straight up. Humans are such hilarious creatures, I'll be honest with you. You guys are so funny. You guys are really, really, really funny. You guys are like probably like that entertainment show like every Saturday night or something, you know? So, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And yeah, I don't approve of this. And peace.